I don't want to give them something else to talk about. Well, with that, anyways, in the mafia, you can do anything to make money, almost anything. What I mean by that is there are some things that they frown upon. Of course, you've heard this stuff about drugs and stuff like that, but let me tell you something. If you're doing things with drugs, as long as these people are getting an envelope, they do not care. Believe me, they don't care. They'll say and they'll go, I didn't know he was doing that. I thought he was doing this, just to justify themselves getting the envelope. You know, uh, sometimes that could even be bad for the person who says I don't know, because a lot of people don't believe them either, which pretty much is right. Of course, there was the most common thing was the unions. Everybody's connected into the union somehow, some way. Sometimes people had to go there to make sure that concrete business, garbage business, whatever it may be, were getting paid. Everybody was getting an envelope. The garment district, my father was actually in there because I think there was the Gambino, Lucchese, and it might have been the Genovese family in there too. But there was definitely a few people who had their hands in there in the kitty. And then what happened was my father, they called my father and they says some people from each family knew my father, vouched for him, and he was making sure that everybody got what they were supposed to get. And that's a pretty nice thing to have too. From different families saying, yeah, we know Joe and we know this guy, and of course, you get a good, like you get a word in from the bosses. No, we trust this guy to go in there, and that's actually a good thing. But of course, there's even things people would sell Viagra. They'd have a hook with the pharmacist. They'd have a hook with another guy who's selling them in the street. You could be doing like what I was doing. I was loan sharking in the street. I didn't have a lot of money out in the street. I'm not going to lie. I might have had maybe 20, 30,000 max out in the street at one time. So it wasn't a lot of money. But like I said to everybody before out there, I started getting smart thanks to my friend who told me start getting, putting up collateral. So at least I wasn't losing money. I didn't have to beat anybody up. It was just so much more easier that way. And of course, everybody knows about Michael Francis, who I got to tell you guys a story at the end. Remind me later to tell the story about the comedy guy. Yeah, he told a funny ass story. But anyway, so Michael had that hook. Somebody came to him about with the gas thing and everything, and he put it together himself too. But because of his connections, the guys in the motor vehicles, the guys in the gas station places. I mean, that's how you make money. He was a intuitive. Okay, he engineered. He actually set up everything, and he did a lot of homework and a lot of legwork, and it paid off for him. So that was like a thing to do. Of course, listen, you can do. If there was, you could be in the porno movie industry, just the regular movie industry yourself. You can own legitimate businesses, whether it be car dealerships, bars, laundromats. Of course, everybody knew about that. There's just so many ways to make money, and of course, most people would ask. You probably would want to know too. How much are you supposed to kick up to the boss? Well, basically, you could kick up to like anywhere from 10%. I think would be the max. Maybe even 20, maybe, but that's a lot. But as long as they get in a little taste, usually sometimes they're satisfied with that because they know you're doing the right thing, and you're contributing to the family and stuff like that. So they pretty much they know, and they're okay with that. There are some of the other guys in that life that are very greedy, and then you're going to get the other guys because you got a little hustle going on. They get jealous of you too. And I think even we had Dominic had the real estate office. He had the body shop. I mean, and these are all legitimate businesses. You know what I'm saying? So he had the construction businesses. I mean, so he was pretty much legit in a lot of ways. And the other stuff that he wasn't doing, I'm not gonna say everything, but
Did wise guys have legitimate businesses?
Sure.
Because like for the reason of like hiding money or
Oh
like
yeah,
also like embezzling funds.
another good point. Sure, but listen, you have to. Sometimes some people will say, "How are you living in a mansion and you're only working as a certain place, or you're on the books for something and you only make 20,000, 100,000, 50,000, 300,000 a year, whatever it may be."
Right.
So you'll always have to judge because they'll say, "How did you afford this house?" And if they want to break your balls, they'll ask, "Where'd you get the money?" Then if you say you get inherited or somebody like that, that's the reason why they're trying to do everything with the cash now. You're only allowed to deposit $600 in the bank without telling anybody. You got to tell show where you got it from. The government is very much the government don't want anybody else being more powerful than them. And then I know this obviously because I've worked for the government and with the FBI, as everybody knows.